Well, hey kids, welcome back. We got another episode of Smith Motorworks here. I'm working on specifically for my little Oldsmobile Firenza that I have. The dash pad or dash panel actually, it's wrecked, beat up. Somebody broke holes in it to put gauges and aftermarket radio, and I mean they did less than worse they could possibly do. It's horrible. You can get them, but I thought, hey, let's give this a shot because they ain't cheap and they're not easy to ship. So, point being, there's a bunch of things I'm doing to it. I'm doing some plastic repair, some hot stapling of patches, 3D printing some pieces totally from scratch that were missing, redoing some wood graining, lots of different stuff. There's a lot of things to go over with, and the video would be just too huge to digest. So I'm breaking it down into pieces. And this episode, we're going to focus on reproducing a cigarette lighter knob. Now, it could be any control knob that you wanted, as long as you got a pattern or you've got an idea of what it looked like. What I did was it had no factory radio in it, so I found one that was close it was a GM radio from the era, had the same kind of knobs on it. So I could use that, but I had the headlight switch knob that was perfect. So got the calipers out, took that and duplicated it, 3D printed it, put some chrome paint on it, chrome paint pen on it, and bought a super cheap, just universal GM cigarette lighter that the knob unscrews. So I screwed the new knob on and put it together. Voila, there we have it. Now this could apply to anything you got, any kind of control knob, don't matter what make or model. If you don't have access to a 3D printer, there's probably somebody out there to take on the project for possibly just the challenge of it. But pretty much everybody seems to have one or access to one these days, so not that hard to find. But we'll get into the nuts and bolts of it here right now. Let's do it. All right, I'll show you how we got this far. Got a couple of previous attempts here. Didn't come out quite like I expected, but that's okay. The filament's cheap when you 3D print it, and what I tried to do basically was print it in white, and you can see that's not completely painted. And what happened was the paint would fill in these flutes around the perimeter here, and that's the whole point. So I tried to deepen them up, which is a trick I learned back when I was doing industrial design. When you got a coating, you kind of try to overshoot what you want the detail to look like, because the paint's going to fill it in. It's got a thickness, of course. Just not a good idea. So what I was talking about earlier, I got some chrome filament, which isn't really chrome, but kind of like shiny silver, and then I got a chrome-ish paint pen. There's paint marker. There's better ones on the market for sure, but there's so much variation in these knobs that I didn't feel too worried about it. This is a factory radio knob right here. These aren't even close to matching. I mean, the geometry does for sure, but the finish is way off. So anyway, tried to get as close as I could, and I'm happy with that. Like we talked about earlier, use the calipers and CAD program to get this shape. It's dimensionally barely accurate. I mean, the geometry of it is pretty close. And you can see the wood grain in here. I was never going to match that. That looks like a photograph somebody's put onto a decal, and that's the whole look of the dash panel stuff. So I talked to a friend of mine's former boss and master furniture maker, and said, "What do you think they were trying to duplicate wood grain wise?" And I forget what he said, but I think he said mahogany. If anybody's interested, I can tell you exactly what vinyl I bought. But wood grain's like a cloud. There's no, or snowflake. There's no two that match. So the tone coloration is very, very close. What he told me, he was right on. But, the pattern is not going to match. But who knows? Who's going to notice is what I'm saying. So I cut a disc out of here with my little vinyl plotter, glued it on there to make sure it wouldn't come off. And, we're pretty much done with that. I need to recolor the backside of this. Is kind of wobbly looking, but you can't see on the backside of it anyway. This is all you see. So, again, I want to look good doing it, torch painter stuff. Don't want to halfway anything. But here's the key. As I said, you can find the factory stuff, but it's kind of salty. And, if I'm going to spend $50 on something like this that I'm never really going to use, I'd rather be on a part that I can't even dream about duplicating. So I got this. This is for GM cars, and it's just some Chinese copy, super cheap Amazon piece. Again, I can get you guys the links to that. Easy to find. Here's the cool thing about it. If you just want to fill that hole in your dash, which is essentially what I'm doing, you can stick this in there, fills the hole, but it does not match at all. It's just got the universal, somebody's ready to ash here, smoking symbol. Here's the cool part. This knob threads off. That's why I wanted it. You take this knob off, and then a whole world of possibilities opens up for matching your stock dash knob. So doesn't need to be a Firenza, Monza, Sunbird, Skyhawk, any of those cars, Vega, whatever. It can be anything you want. I mean, this is the same element they used for decades. Screw that off of there. Copy the geometry of the knob that you want and put it on there. This is a really, really tiny metric tap. It's M3 by 0.5. This is like a 10-penny nail, man. 3 millimeters is a little bit bigger than an 1/8 inch, so very small. I didn't even have a tap handle that worked. I had to turn it in with my, Kmart slip joint pliers. That my good luck charm there for dumb projects like this when I don't have the right tool. But pretty much, I printed the correct size pilot hole on the bottom here and tapped it. It's pretty easy to tap, but a lot easier with the tap handle. I'll thread that right on there. Hey, look at that. We got a cigarette lighter element. It'll pop right into the dash, and we'll go look at how that looks in a minute here. But the big thing was getting the physical shape and size and this in play here. I'm going to go back over this a little bit. This stuff, this marker, there's some out there. It's a brand. I can't remember what it is. I did not buy that because I didn't know if I trusted it or not. These are okay, but there's a brand that the model makers, the guy that build, the hyper accurate dioramas of the plastic model cars, they use a different brand, and that's the one that they recommend. This isn't the one. I'm not knocking this. It did what I wanted. When you put it on, it's kind of shiny. Not as shiny as this, but shinier than this. But if you smudge it up a lot, you get a lot of oil from your skin on there, it starts to not shine so much. So I'm going to give it another coat because how often are you really going to touch this? If you're using this because you're a smoker, maybe you should try to find an original. But for me, I just want that dash to look like it did, or at least, look appropriate instead of having a big, ugly, open socket in there. So I think we got it. like I was talking about earlier, a lot of repairs going on to our dash panel here, over on the left that you can't, or right that you can't see. Fix the radio area that somebody snapped out with I don't know, pair of alignment pliers or something. Pretty nasty. We'll cover that later. What we're focused on right now is replacing this that was never there. So you saw what we made a few minutes ago. Pops right in there. Check it out. Yes, definitely perfume on a pig at this point. New windshield wipers on a busted windshield, whatever you want to call it. But when it's all put together, trust me, it will look awesome. But this is the knob that matches the other knobs. It fills this socket in here, which probably doesn't work. But maybe we'll make that work. But hey, it looks right. Better than having some goofy plug or some knob that isn't even close to matching the style of the dash, and you can get it done on your own. So there you go. Well, hey, looky there, you made it to the end. Good for you guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully you got some use out of what I was doing there and inspiring your own project, because we're going to keep doing them regardless. And definitely appreciate you watching. Please do that homework. Like, subscribe, share. Helps us get out there and try to keep this thing going. I'm going to keep it going regardless, but like to have you along for the ride. So definitely send me a comment. Whatever you think, you hate, you love, don't matter. I read them all. I try to reply to everyone. Pretty much do reply to everyone. So until then, we'll see you next time on Smith Motorworks. Thank y'all.